Hey y'all, what's up? I just want to give a shout out to Petty Tupac TV. Make sure you go smash, like, and don't forget to subscribe. For real, for real.
Okay. I'm gonna expound on that later on. You got into it, but yeah,
Okay.
everything you said, all facts. I want to backtrack a little bit. Just we gonna. I
Okay.
want to
Cool.
touch on Chicago a little.
Okay.
Did T. Rogers have a name in Chicago when you was growing up?
No.
Because people say he got ran out or something.
No. I don't know about that. I don't really believe that. And I'm gonna tell you why. Even though he didn't have a name, I'm sure the Stones knew him, Jeff Ford knew him, his people. But I'm gonna say why I don't believe he got ran out of Chicago. Because Jeff Ford openly said he could start when he started out there on the West Coast, one. And two, when he got out there, he had a fight with Tookie Stokes, who was way bigger than him, which earned him a lot of respect from the people who decided to run behind him. You get what I'm saying? So for him not
Mm-hmm.
to run for Tukey, this old muscle bound weightlifting type of guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shows, some type of level or, and I don't think he could have held down the jungle and had that type of respect and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think he got ran up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I think he just moved like me. I'm gonna tell you, I got tricked out of Chicago. And I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
explain to you how I got tricked out of Chicago. My mother knew I was heavy into what I was into. So she had got on drugs real bad. And she wanted to, like, I guess, save me or whatever, this, that, and other. So she told me, hey man, you gotta go up to Detroit to visit your father and your grandparents and all them up there. You know what I mean? You go every
Right.
summer, it's time for you to go up there. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I didn't really want to go, but I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
I'll go. So I go up there, and when it's time to go back to school, I'm sitting down with my grandma eating, and I'm like, man, okay, I'm not even interested in school, but I'm playing. I'm like, hey, grandma, school starts in a couple of days, so when am I going back to Chicago? And she was like, you don't know? Your mother didn't tell you? I'm like, tell me what? She was like, you no longer could live in Chicago. You live in Detroit now. You live with us. Your mother, the project house that y'all had in the projects, that's gone. She got evicted. You know what I mean? She's not even in Chicago right now. She's in New Jersey. Your mother. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, wow, my whole life changed right before my face. I'm stuck in Detroit. I'm 14 years old. And in Chicago, I'm somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm really somebody. But now I'm on the east side of Detroit, staying with my grandparents. My brother and them stay on the west side. I'm like, man, this is. And then when I go to high school, I end up in one of the worst high schools in Detroit and don't know nobody. You know how that is going to school. I don't know not one person in the school. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. But I grew up in Chicago and it's rough and this, that, and other, and I know how to move. When I go to school, kids in Detroit, they got on silk shirts and Calvin Klein jeans and Bally shoes and alligator briefcases. I'm from Chicago. All we wore was starter jackets and Levi's and some Nikes. So to them, I'm a bum. But that's good because the bums don't get no attention. I don't need no attention right now. I need to figure out my way, how I'm gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Because they got 2020, which was in my school, and man, I seen them the first day beat the shit out of motherfucker, beat them. No guards, nobody, saved them or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing that this is not a joke. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to figure it out. So coming in, not being the flyest guy, kind of going up under the radar. You know what I mean? But then I could play basketball in the park. It was right across the street from my grandma's house. I started playing at the park with the guys from the neighborhood from East Jefferson. And they kind of slowly started to take a liking to me. And that's how I got in and started going to school with them and this, that, and other. And the rest was history after that.
What age did you jump off the porch?
12.
Damn, 12.
But see, you got to understand something. My whole family was GDs. So I was already banging GDs since I've been 7, 8 years old. Even though I wasn't really official, I was already knew this is what I was going to do in Chicago. I already knew I was going to be a GD. Everybody in the family, I can't wait till I'm an official GD. And that's how the CNO started. They started because there was so many young niggas that wanted to be GDs, basically, that the nigga who was calling shots over there, excuse me, the brother who was calling shots over there, was like, I'm going to start another clique. We the Pico gang. Y'all can't be Pico gang. Y'all going to be the CNO gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
And then Most of them end up being crackheads and dope fiends, a lot of the Pico gang. So now if you know anything about 39th Street, you only hear about the C-Notes. But it originally started with the Picos. You get what I'm saying? And then the C-Notes was the little brothers to them.
I gotta ask you this because you're from Chicago. Growing up, did you try Sherm?
Hell no. Wasn't no water around my hood growing up.
Oh, okay. Because
I'm saying it wasn't no water.
I be seeing memes of like the Vice Lords or whatever, and they be like, I know a Vice Lord when I see one. They got the Sherm stick right there or whatever. They got
Them, I'm gonna tell you something. Wasn't a lot of vice lords around either. So that might be some out west shit, because the west side is like another whole city from the south side. It's sort of like the east side and the west side of Detroit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people from the west don't hang on the east. A lot of people from the east don't hang on the west. You know what I mean? You know, that's just how it is. It's
Exactly.
changing now with the rappers and shit. But when I grew up, it was a lot of static from both sides. You know,
When you was in Detroit, when did you start to get in the streets and start hustling?
I was going to King. My daddy owned a car wash out on 8 Mile. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so everybody, all the young guys was coming in there with 4Runners and Cherokees and all types of cars. You know, you start seeing that shit and you start like, damn, I want to do this. Fuck washing these cars for my dad at his hand car wash or whatever. I want to do that. So I started meeting different guys. And I met a guy from 8 Mile who had a spot over there on the east side because his cousin was from the east side and he needed some workers. So I was like, look, man, I'll get you some work. You know, I went to school. I was like, I'll get you some workers, but you got to let me pay the workers. So he was like, okay, cool. So I went to school, found some guys who I knew wanted to work. And I was like, look, man, I'll give y'all $250 a week if y'all go work this spot after school. The guy would give me $300. So every worker that guy would just take 50 off for they bag for me, for finding them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was just my fine, because they was hungry and wanted to make some money at this, that, and that. So I'm plugging you into some. 250 was a lot of money back then. So everybody was happy, you know. So that's how it started, you know what I mean? From a hand car wash, the type of people that come in there, meeting a guy or two, and then the guy asking me something about over there where I go to school at. Do I know anybody over there that want to work? You know,
Y'all was selling hard or what?
hard
Mm-hmm.
dimes.
And at this time, when you getting into the game, what clicks is popping up? In Detroit or on the East Side or wherever.
You got the Chamber Brothers, you got the Curry Boys, you got the Best Friends. You know what I'm saying? You got Demetrius, them. You got Maserati. Everybody's popping. It's the heyday. It's that time. You know what I mean? Everybody's popping.
How did you know about all these clicks and there wasn't no social media?
It was the East Side. It was just like you just talk to when you're in the game. You know different people in the game. You just start hearing stuff. Like a lot of these guys went to King too. Like I told you originally, a lot of these guys went to King. So by going to King, you kind of knew you like I say you'd be in lunchroom. Then the Van Dyke guys, then the Cross Grassy guys, then the King Home guys, then the East Jefferson guys, then the guys from over there by deeper Van Dyke. Even if some few people came from 7 Mile, you just would know the different little cliques from going to school. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you start hearing about it. Oh, the friends took one of the Van Dyke boys' lamb today. You know what I mean? You just hear these stories going around, and you start, putting two and two together.
What was King an academic school when you was going?
It changed while I was there. It was just a rough school. They kicked out everybody like my sophomore year and started an MSAT program and made it a good smart school. But originally, it was nothing but crazy. The school was nothing but crazy. They had locks on every door. It's like that Joe Carter story, Lean on Me or something. The doors was like there's only one or two ways in and out. It was crazy when I first got there.
Damn. Okay, so you hustling, you selling money, you recruit. Well, excuse me, not selling money, but you recruiting workers. When did you start to see your first real money, and what was you doing? Was you copping more, or was you just working for somebody? What was going on?
What happened was me and my father got into it. I met this girl. We were staying off on East 7 Mile over there on Keystone with my sister. And so me and my dad got into it because he gave me $3 to go to the corner store on 7 Mile Keystone to get him a pack of cigarettes. He
Mm-hmm.
gave me all pennies. It was wintertime. I didn't want to walk past. So I'm like, man, look, Pops, the girl who worked at this store, You know what I mean? You know, I be talking to him on the phone. I can't go in here with no $3 worth of pennies. You know what I mean? This, that, and other. He was like, man, get your ass down the store and get me some cigarettes. So I told my sister, I said, this is it. I'm gone. So instead of having people work the spots at this point, remember I told you that people working the spot stuff. I just called the guy. I was like, man, I need some work for the spot. He was like, for what? You got another worker? I was like, no, I'm going to work it. He was like, you going to work it? I'm like, yeah. So I went over there and I started living in the spot 24 hours a day for about 30 days working it myself. You know what I mean? So that's how I really got heavy into it. I was like, I wasn't finna embarrass myself in front of that chick that I like. So I just like, fuck it. My dad's on crack. You know what I mean? I'm not finna keep living like this. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on and do what I gotta do. The next time he saw me, I had $10,000. You know what I mean? Shocked his ass.